everyone, I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. This is where we talk about why you should wear a full body hazmat suit when you color your hair. Just kidding. This is where normally I talk about books, but once a month I do a wrap up of what I watched in the month, and that's what you're watching today. So, what I watched in February. I'll start with my horror movies. So last month, I had this urge to rewatch and maybe try to find some new Asian horror movies because that might be my favorite subgenre of horror, is foreign horror. So I fully intended to just like go down a J-horror rabbit hole this month, but I started out with Pulse, which I think it maybe actually is Korean. That was a 2001 film about this computer virus that people were getting, and it says, do you want to see a real ghost or something like that? And they're like, yes I do, or no I don't. I don't actually think that they're able to respond. The computer just like pulls up this kind of weird image of like a dark screen, but like you can see somebody. I don't know. Listen, I was super hopeful for this movie. I had never seen it before, that's kind of a more mainstream one, like an easily accessible foreign horror movie. So I thought it would be pretty good because it was mainstream, and I was disappointed. I remember getting to the point where I was like, man, I've been watching this for a long time. Then something happened that I thought must be like part of the final conflict. So I checked to see how much movie was left, and I was only halfway through. It's a 2-hour movie, so that's pretty long. And if I really don't like a movie, I'm not gonna sit through 2 hours of it. It's just, I have too many other things that I want to do. I ended up not finishing it all the way because it was just not very good. And you know, maybe that was a mistake on my part because maybe it gets super crazy and good towards the end, but I didn't like it. Next, I watched Drag Me to Hell, which is a 2009 movie. This was a rewatch for me, and I remember when I watched it the first time thinking, this is kind of a dark comedy, so it's kind of funny, and then also it was kind of spooky, so I wanted to rewatch it. This is about a bank teller who gets approached by, well, she's more of like a loan officer, I guess, probably. She gets approached by an older Romani woman, and she needs help keeping her home, and the loan officer woman is like, I'm sorry, I can't help you with this, and so she's cursed, and she's going to get drugged to hell. She's gonna get sent to hell, basically, is the premise of this. It has Justin Long in it. He's kind of goofy. Upon rewatching this, I didn't think it was as spooky as I thought the first time I watched this, way back when it came out in 2009. I think what I mistook for spookiness was really just jump scares. So if you like being startled all the time, maybe you should check that out. But otherwise, I just thought it was okay. It's kind of funny. I don't think it's bad, it's just not super great. Okay, another one I watched this month was one that just came on Netflix, although it's a 2016 movie called Don't Knock Twice. I also didn't like this one. There were so many movies that I didn't really like this month, but this was about a girl who's been put into foster care for a big portion of her life. Her mom is a drug addict, and as a child, one of her friends from the, I guess, orphanage kind of, or group home that she was in, was abducted, and they thought that a weird old woman who lived by herself near the group home was the one who abducted the boy. So her and her friends kind of just bother her until she killed herself. There's this rumor that if you knock twice on her door, the door of the house that's still there, that is unoccupied now since the woman killed herself, I guess, that she will take you to a demon. That's why she was abducting kids, to feed a demon, I guess. Anyways, I didn't think it was very good. But listen, I say that I don't like these movies, but I'm not by any means saying that you should not check them out. If this premise sounds interesting to you, please go watch it because you might like it. Anyways, next on my list, another disappointment was the Hulu, the series that Hulu started doing with their horror movies. I haven't watched any of those yet, so I decided to watch the first one. The series is called Into the Dark, and then the first movie is called The Body, and it's about this hitman who kills someone on Halloween, and he needs to drag the body to a place so he'll get paid. Like, I guess the person needs proof, or he wants to stage it somehow or something. So he's carrying this body around, and everyone thinks that it's a prop for his Halloween costume. And what I did not like about this was that he meets this group of teenagers or young adults, I guess, maybe college-age students, and they take him to a party. He's not able, his car, oh my god, I'm just gonna have to explain this whole thing. The hitman's car, its tires have been slashed, so he needs to find a way to take this body to where he needs to bring it. So he meets these college kids, they're like, yeah, we can give you a ride, but you have to come to this party. So he's like, fine. And he's like all British and sullen and like kind of good looking. And so of course he's the perfect villain. And there's a girl in this group of friends who's like, oh, I love serial killers and I've always wondered what it would be like to kill people, and just all this super cringy, gross stuff. And I thought that was so, that was not a good decision for the plot line. It just made it poo-poo. It was bad. Okay, on to a movie that I did like. I rewatched the movie Willow, which came out in 1988. I watched that with my daughter. Oh, I bought it because I haven't been able to, I used to watch this when I was a kid. I haven't been able to find it anywhere unless I wanted to pay like 60 bucks for it. So I saw it at Best Buy one weekend and I was like, oh my god, I need this. So I watched this with my daughter. It just makes me so nostalgic. I don't think it's actually a very good movie, but I love it and it's so goofy and it has Val Kilmer in it and he's so cute and I just love this movie. My daughter loved it. She's 5. I don't know. It's a good family movie. Watch it with your kids. Watch it with your mom, maybe. I don't know. Or don't. All right. So I watched a couple of documentaries this month. The first one has been a buzz everywhere. I watched Abducted in Plain Sight. It came on my Netflix one night and I was like, what's this? You know, because I like watching true crime shit. And I watched it with my husband and the whole time we were like, what? And then like that information, the information that they tell you kind of sinks in, and then like 10 minutes later, it's like this other thing that just blows your goddamn mind. It is insane. That movie is insane. And I shouldn't call it a movie. It's a documentary. This shit is real. It's so crazy. I think it's the craziest true crime, family drama shit that I've ever seen. It is crazier than The Imposter, which is about a brown skin man from, I'm sorry, I don't remember what nationality he is. He's from France. It's about a brown skinned man from France, like 30 years old, pretending to be a like 16, 17-year-old white, blonde hair, blue-eyed kid who had been abducted from Texas. Abducted in Plain Sight is crazier than that crazy shit. So hopefully if you have not watched it, you have not been spoiled. I'm not even going to really explain what this is about because I fully believe that you should go in completely blind to this story because it's fucking nuts. I also watched a documentary called 3.5 Minutes, 10 Bullets. This was about the death of Jordan Davis. He was murdered by a man, I believe his name was Matt Dunn or Mike Dunn, for having his music turned up too loud in the parking lot of a gas station. The man shot into a car filled with teenage boys, and Jordan Davis was one of those boys, and he was killed. And so it was a well-done documentary about a very sad subject, but I think it's worth a watch. I think it's important to watch things like that because some things like that are so underreported. I think it's important that we are exposed to stuff like this so that as a society, we aren't closed off to knowing that those types of things happen. I also watched another true crime documentary called The Family I Had. This was about I believe he was 16-year-old boy who murdered his like preschool age sister. He stabbed her. It focused mostly on how his family is trying to put itself back together and some of the family history and why this may have happened. And it was really intense because his mom is interviewed throughout this story, and she like straight up says, he's my son, but he's a fucking psychopath. And so it's really intense, like I said, and they interview him in prison, and he, you know, is talking about what he did, and he's talking about his family, and he just seems so normal, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, super crazy. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is actually a television series that just came on Amazon Prime. It's a Prime original. It was produced by Jordan Peele, which is why I was like, maybe I should watch this. And at this point, I'm just going to watch anything with his name on it. And I've only watched, I think Get Out is the only thing that I've watched that he's directed or produced besides this. This was Lorena. This was the story of Lorena Bobbitt, who mutilated her husband. And it's mostly about what happens after that event and the court cases that came after that. His court case separately, and her court case, Lorena's court case and her husband's court case, because they had separate court cases for different things, because she had alleged that she cut off his penis because he had been abusing her. And so he went on trial for that. She also went on trial, obviously, for cutting off his penis. So it was really interesting. It was a lot about the way men and women are treated differently in the court system and after they commit crimes and stuff like that. It had a lot to do with domestic abuse, and I don't know. I'm not gonna really tell you my opinion on that. Although I think maybe he deserved it. I don't know. Okay. Anyways, this is what I watched this month. This video is really rambly. I didn't watch a ton of things that I loved, but I did watch a couple things that were interesting and should be watched. So thanks for watching. I will see you in another video soon, but until next time, see you later, alligator.